we are back and we're moving into our final conversation for today, where we're joined by representatives of a group called Wings of Mine Belize. I have with us two of the co-founders. We have Izalee Lizama and Charlotte Nall. And of course, this group is going to be talking about Prenatal and Infant Loss Awareness Month. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, tough topic to talk about, but it's so important. So let's start off by hearing a bit more about Wings of Mine Belize. You're fairly recent in terms of your development, but tell us why you got together and how it's been going so far.
Well, why we got together is because, such in life, when it hits your door, that's when it really affects you. I had a loss, and I could not imagine not having that support through my time. And I figured out how could people cope without having help and counseling and someone there knowing that they're not alone. So I decided to come with this group. And so far, it's 3 years. It's a lot of work. The topic is such a taboo in Belize, and it still is. It's still a sticky topic. And it's been a lot of work, but I am so glad we reached so far of 3 years. And I hope we last a long time and we get to help people and help more mothers in their counseling process, in their healing process, and to know that they have people that they can share their experience with.
Yeah. You know, what did you find? Because you're so right. We don't know until we experience it for ourselves. But what did you find was kind of the general perception? I think, were people dismissive of people who lost their babies in pregnancy? I mean, what was the sentiment that you found?
I found that it was because I found it was hard. Mm-hmm. In our society, it's not something we talk about. Mm-hmm. It's something that we need to it happens to us and we're supposed to forget and live with that. And people don't know the real person experiencing it hurts. It affects your mental state. It affects you in your relationship, either at home with your spouse, at work, and this is when you need that help. But where in our society, it's a shame to ask for help in this case, and we want people to know, men and women, that it's not something to be scared of. It's something that we can talk about.
Yeah. And for you, Charlotte, tell us about why you decided to join in.
So I've never had a pregnancy loss, but I joined in when Izalee is my cousin, and she has, at her loss, it was a preparation that the entire family was looking forward to. And of course, this was the baby that was supposed to light up the family. And this was the twins. Actually, Izalee lost twins. And she suffered a great deal of depression and grief. And when she was going through this, between myself, my aunt, and my uncle, we kept thinking, what can we do to help her? And my first thing was bring her up to Colorado at the time that I was living, to get her some type of help, because the mental health wait list was so extremely long. And during that time while she was up there was when the discussion started about for us to have a support group, that it's so important. And I kept hearing over and over, and I kept seeing when my aunt was knocking on doors, that it's a taboo topic in Belize. Mental health in itself is not something that we talk about. Many times it's a closed door, and we tend to shun upon it. And so coming back, I came back with Isa to Belize, and we started talking with a few young women who had experienced the similar loss about getting the group started. I thought it was so important for these young women to express how they're feeling. It's so important for many places, the workplace, at home, outside of home, to understand that it is a loss. It's a grave loss that they are going through, and it will take time for them to grieve that loss.
Yeah.
It is a human being that's been gone.
Have you guys been surprised by the amount of women who share this experience?
In my field, I haven't, but in Belize, I think Izalee is very surprised at the amount of women who are coming out now, saying about their losses and talking about their support.
Izalee?
I am very surprised. I even they have certain women that are still not ready. I feel that you reach to a point where you need to go through your grieving process, and in order to heal, you have to be ready to talk about it. Yeah. So it takes a time, and now a lot of more women are coming out saying, this is what I went through, and it's something they didn't want to share. Yeah. I know they're sharing it. We have some people that we speak to that have like losses like 24 years ago, 40 years ago, and they can still feel that pain. The pain is not as strong as before when it just happened, but they still remember every detail of their loss.
Yeah. And do they all share the same taboo that you noted before, where people kind of just expect them? I mean, the two different things. We always hear, especially in Belize, that it's unnatural to lose your child. And I know that people use that as a measure if the child is born and of a certain age. But losing the baby during pregnancy or immediately after birth, and that's the particular group that you're working with. Do you feel that people somehow want to minimize the pain because you haven't had the child around as long?
Definitely, they do minimize the pain. They would say, but you're not a mother. Like, for example, when it's Mother's Day, and because your baby is not alive, they think they're not supposed to say Happy Mother's Day to you. I know sometimes it hurts because then your child is not here, but you are a mother. You held that baby inside of you, and that's the starting process of motherhood. It starts from there. So you need to acknowledge the little things like that makes a big difference when you're coping with someone that's healing from a loss.
Yeah. And so you said the group has been started for about 3 years now. What are some of the activities that you have been doing as you get more women, and you said male and female, more parents coming forward who acknowledge that they have had a prenatal or infant loss?
Well, we are not counselors ourselves, but we are all women and men that experience a loss. And what we do, we would sit down and talk about our experience, what we can learn from each other, and basically, and that's what we do. And we even do referrals to other counselors that can help them, or psychiatrists if they need more deep help in the healing process so far. And we have much more things we have in store for the future, but it takes time. And for example, we have a documentary we just finished done last night.
Oh wow!
Yes, and we're working. Yeah, we just finished it last night, and we are working on our website.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of things. Due to COVID, we had planned to do a dinner event, our first official dinner event, but it's a process, and we're getting there. Yeah. We are finally getting there, and we hope we accomplish much more for Belize in everything. We're locked in. I mean, we're not here to bash anybody. We're here to work along with the system, work along with the doctors, work along with the counselors, and anyone else that wants to help. Yeah. It's something for everyone. This can happen to anyone, and this is just life.
Yeah. So when you see, I mean, I'm looking at the pictures, I think, of last year's event when you commemorated the day.
That was the first year.
Oh, that was the first year.
That was the first year. I'm looking back at it. That was the first year. That was her walk.
Uh-huh.
And surprisingly, we had a huge turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year. And our second year was a candlelight vigil.
Okay. And
Yeah,
this year
and
you're going to do a candlelight vigil as well.
We're going to do the virtual commemoration tonight at 7 p.m. on our Wings of Mind page on Facebook.
How does a virtual candlelight session work?
Well, it's going to be on Zoom. We're going to
Okay.
do it live.
Okay.
And we're going to have a program we're going to follow.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we have in stores for all our audience tonight.
Yeah.
So
So,
we'll be having two guest speakers, Roselle Brisenia, who is a counselor, and Dr. Eligio, who will also be giving his perspective from the male point of view on how males also grieve the loss of their child.
wow, yeah. And that's what I was noting in those pictures. It's the entire family that comes out. And because the entire family is affected, even if you already have a child, you've already told them they're going to get a sibling and they're excited and they're saying what they want, or, if it's going to be a girl or boy. So it really is something that is a loss for the entire family. Has that been surprising, just, that the men are coming out to participate, that the children are also being involved?
Most definitely,
would say,
it's a.
Go ahead, Lee.
Most definitely, it's a family thing. This affects the entire family.
Yeah.
It's very important to have a spouse there on your side, a grandmother, a cousin. Even one of our members were talking, and she said they went to the gravesite for their child, and the baby, they were asking questions and want to know what's going to be, how old she was going to be this year. They're concerned. They want to know it because that's their little sister, that's their little brother. I also want to stress that this day is to reflect on our loss, but it's also to embrace the love that we had with our child.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's a sad thing, but it's bitter, but it's also a good thing. I mean, some of us might not even be able to have children again, and just having that love there and sharing, having a love from a child is totally different from having a love from a spouse or a mother or a brother. We as women, we look forward to be mothers. So that's what I want people to know, that.
Yeah. And it's normalizing it. It's
helping
letting
me.
people know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
When you share the story, when you
Exactly.
talk about your baby. What were your baby's names?
Yeah. What was
your baby's name?
Yeah, your babies. Did they have names?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We name our babies. My baby was Zeta Zientz Flowers. That was her name.
Okay. And why is
Yeah.
that such an important part of your healing? Why do you ask people to speak about the baby, use their names? How does it help you?
It helps places closure.
Yeah.
It helps gives closure to that mom, and it helps give them that ownership that, this is my baby. It was a human being. It was a heartbeat. I carried it, even if I carried it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 38 weeks, I carried it.
Yeah.
And so giving that baby a name and letting others acknowledge that, yes, I did have a baby is so very important.
Yeah.
That was one of the things we stressed with Isa when she lost Zeta, in that we will acknowledge this baby every Christmas. There's an ornament that goes on the tree with Zeta's name. We do a lot of little things. Every time Isa's dad passed the burial ground, he say a little prayer and say hello to Zeta, because Zeta was a part of our lives. Isa felt that heartbeat for quite a few months. And so we want her to know that we are here to support her and we acknowledge her loss. And that is something that we ask family members to do. And
Yeah. I think that there's so much that people will probably need to learn, and that's why this group is so helpful, because it's hard to sympathize with people when they're grieving. You're always fearful of saying the wrong things or hurting them more. But your experience and you sharing it just here on public television helps us to understand how important it is for us to reach out, for us to speak about your child and acknowledge your motherhood. And I think it's such a wonderful thing that you have taken your loss and turned it into an opportunity to help others as well. So how do people, do you have a membership? How do people get involved?
Well, we have our Facebook page. You can give us a call and send us a message. It's easy, just very easy to contact us, and we will be there at your avail.
Okay.
And we also have our website page. It's up. Finally, I just got the message.
Oh wow.
And our
Surprise!
Our website page is Wings of Mind BZ. It was a generous donation that was given to us from Urbina de Souza. And so that is up. And our Wings of Mind, I just got the info too, that while we're speaking at our Instagram page is up.
Okay.
And that's Wings of Mind BZ also. So if they post pitch on the website, they're able to send us an email and we'll be able to get back with them. One of the things that we're foreseeing as we go ahead, that we start moving forward, is the ability to be able to provide ultrasounds for these women who are high risk, to help with some neonatal screenings and neonatal issues. Also to be able to help provide some mental health in providing counseling for these women. So we want them to reach out to us, and we're not just saying women, we also want the men to reach out to us if they find that they are in need of support. We are here and we will work with them to see however we can to help them.
All right. And tonight at 7 p.m. you'll be having your candlelight vigil on this is, of course, virtual, and people go to your page. That's how they'll see the live vigil?
Yes. That's how they're going to see the live vigil, yes?
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for telling us all about it, and we do wish you the best of luck. We hope that more people are able to find comfort in seeking out Wings of Mind, and that your community continues to grow as you offer more support. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too, and stay safe.
Thanks.
All right, and with that, we are going to go ahead and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.